Good day, YouTubers. This is Joseph Magi, author of Playing Card Divination and Fortune Telling, the Magi Method. You can find the book worldwide on Amazon in both Kindle and paperback versions. You can find the full color card deck used here on Etsy/Magi Method. You can join us on Facebook. This morning, we're going to examine events surrounding Chappaquiddick. Okay, on July 18th, 1969, 6 married men and 6 single women aged 23 to 28. These 6 single women were called the Boiler Room Girls. One of those 6 married men was Robert Kennedy, a newly minted senator who'd been a senator for 1 year, and he had presidential aspirations. These 6 young women, 23 to 28, they had participated. They were called the Boiler Room Girls, and they had participated in the presidential campaign of Robert Kennedy. You know, they'd stumped for Robert Kennedy. Anyway, around midnight on the island of Chappaquiddick, and Chappaquiddick, hopefully you can see that, Cape Cod, this is Cape Cod. Okay, up here is Provincetown. Don't know if you've been there. Had a really good steak there. Martha's Vineyard is separated from the Cape by ocean, and you have to take a ferry to get there. And Chappaquiddick is a small island, a smaller island off of Martha's Vineyard. And right here at this tip here is Edgartown. And there's a little bit of water separating Chappaquiddick from Martha's Vineyard. And so there's a ferry between Chappaquiddick and Martha's Vineyard, and there's a ferry between Cape Cod and Martha's Vineyard. Okay, so the party is on Chappaquiddick at a small, beach kind of place. Okay, so around midnight, Ted Kennedy, he said at 11:15 he left with Mary Jo Kopechne. Okay, a police officer saw him driving, and he said it was 12:30. Okay, but he didn't stop Ted Kennedy. There's just a lot of strange things about these events. I'm going to cut right to the chase. What happened is that Robert Kennedy ended up driving across a bridge, overturning his car, and this is the car that was fished out of the pond, okay, in 10 feet of water. The car overturned with he and Mary Jo Kopechne in it, age 28, a single woman, and he's married and he's a senator. He escaped out of the vehicle, and she was trapped in the vehicle in an air pocket. Okay, so that means there was an air pocket in that submerged vehicle, and there was a lot of time to save her. There was a lot of time because she had air. She was in an air pocket, even though she was trapped in the vehicle. Ted Kennedy did not contact the police until 10 hours later. Okay, so I want to know, I'm going to throw a Celtic cross. Was Chappaquiddick an accident, or was it murder? I mean, the circumstances of Chappaquiddick are so strange that it's hard to understand how Ted Kennedy has had a successful political career after Chappaquiddick. He pled guilty to leaving the scene of a crime. He got 2 months of a suspended sentence for leaving the scene of a crime. This is at best, this is manslaughter. Okay, and he wasn't charged with manslaughter. And at worst, it could be murder. So there's just a lot of really strange circumstances associated with this. And compare this to the Me Too stuff. Okay, here's a man. This is definitely manslaughter. It's maybe murder. She might have been, Mary Jo may have been blackmailing him. And compare this to the Me Too stuff. Okay, Ted Kennedy, this is manslaughter and maybe murder, and he went on to have a 40, 50-year successful political career, but he's a Democrat. Okay, and then, anyway, so I just want to throw some cards and see what we see, and we'll look at some of the other facts as we go along. I just want to know what the cards think about this. So is this an accident, or is it murder? Because why didn't he contact the police earlier? Okay, why are you waiting 10 hours? Okay, and he swam back down to the vehicle, and he must have seen her in there. You know, she's alive, she's in the air pocket, and she's screaming for help, and he doesn't really get help. I mean, he brings two of the men from the party back, and they're like, you know, they look and they don't call the cops. They never call the cops. They don't call emergency. They don't get the right people there to save her. So very strange. Okay, so let's see what we've got here. Okay, the fox, the player. So some deception cards here. Okay, so is it an accident, or is this murder? Okay, so in the center we have the Star of Bethlehem. Okay, and this is the self position. There's the Star of Bethlehem is one major star, but this is a direction, and this can be a whole bunch of things. A whole bunch of things. 7, so this is... Okay, so right in the center we have the Star of Bethlehem. And this can be like fate. It just happened. Finger of God would be better for an act of God. But this could be an accident. Okay, here crossing it we have the fox. The fox is very clever. The fox will lie to you. Okay, the fox is looking out for herself. Okay, so this accident, this fox is looking out for himself. I don't know, does Ted Kennedy, and I'm sorry to call him Robert, because the girls worked on the presidential campaign of Robert Kennedy. Okay, and then there's a whole bunch of famous Kennedys, and this is Ted Kennedy. So the fox is very selfish. The fox has an agenda. The fox is really clever. This is a great business card. This is a great card to represent a politician. Okay, the fox. And since it's a female card, the fox uses the circumstances and acts wisely and manipulates circumstances more than proactively. A male card, like the King of Diamonds, very proactively affects the circumstances. The fox more manipulates the circumstances. So the fox may lie to you. The fox may leave out information. The fox may mislead you. So circumstances and the clever fox shaping our perception of those circumstances. Here we have the olive tree. Okay, they were together. They had a long association. Ted Kennedy and Mary Jo Kopechne, who died that night. Behind we have the player. The player he looks good. He smells nice. The playa is often an infidelity card. Okay, 6 married men, 6 single women. So, I mean, this was a setup for infidelity. Where were the wives? Did the wives know about it? Of course they didn't. They were out to have a good time. Home on top, they These are friends and family, all these shoes. Everybody knew each other quite well, and so they're having a party. Mercury, it has a car on it. It goes, things happen very fast, and there's a car. The car, there were no guardrails on that bridge. Ted Kennedy, to go to the ferry, he would have to go to the left. He took a sharp right onto, and there's a sign that pointed to the left, ferry. Okay, so he's here on Chappaquiddick, and he needs to make a left to go to the ferry. On the paved road, he took a right to go down a dirt road across this small bridge that the car overturned on, and just beyond that small bridge there is a little beach. Okay, a small deserted beach. It's very lonely, it's very deserted, there's very few people there. What was Ted Kennedy's motivation? Was he taking Mary Jo for sex on that deserted beach? Or was she blackmailing him because he's a senator, he's married, he's drunk? Did she have his baby? Not seeing a baby. So Fox could be her. Fox, he's definitely the player. She could be cleverly manipulating. There's no murderer cards here yet. There's no murderer cards, I don't think. Okay, so inheritance. He's a very wealthy man. This is a card of great wealth. The direction and inheritance. Ted Kennedy had aspirations to run for president. This ruined it for him. Okay, Chappaquiddick ruined it for him. He did not run for president in the next presidential election. I think he was the front runner. Okay, so this very wealthy man had every intention to be president, and he was going to be very clever about handling this very sticky situation. Okay, High Tower, this is very official. This is people and events. He got smart people. He's very highly connected. Interesting. So, at 8 a.m., okay, so Ted Kennedy, he didn't call the police for 10 hours. He allegedly swam, the ferry stopped running between Chappaquiddick and Martha's Vineyard. He had a hotel room on Martha's Vineyard. In Edgartown, he allegedly swam across after the ferry closed, and he went to sleep. He slept through the night, and at 8 a.m., okay, this is how concerned he is about this woman's life. Mary Jo Kopechne is trapped in this car. She's going to die if nobody does anything, and you need to act quickly. He went to his hotel room in Chappaquiddick, and he slept. He changed his clothes and he slept. And he never notified the police. He walked right past the fire station on his way to the ferry to get from Chappaquiddick to Martha's Vineyard, and he didn't notify them. I mean, who better to notify than the fire department, who knows how to handle situations like this, and who came and fished her dead body out of the car. So at 8 a.m. he calls a high-level contact. He phones a friend. What do I do? You know, he's concerned about himself. He's the fox. He's concerned about himself. He's not concerned about this dead woman. Son, it all is exposed. At 9 a.m., at 10 a.m. finally, Ted Kennedy informs the police. At 9 a.m., a fisherman going to fish in that pond saw the body, saw the car, didn't see the body's trapped in the car, and called it into police. So at 9 a.m. it's called in by somebody else. At 10 a.m., and he may have known this, he may have not even intended to tell the police yet, but at 10 a.m. he goes in, I think, to the police station, and he informs the police, finally. 10 hours after the accident. Okay, outcome, 3 black birds. A lot of activity, a lot of talking. Okay, so the question that I asked, was Chappaquiddick an accident or murder? There's no murder here. There's no murder here. Okay, these are not murdering cards. So let's summarize what we have here. And the outcome is 3 black birds. Okay, I have a fox. We have a fox and a player. The fox is very clever. The player is... these are very unemotionally involved cards. So what do we have? Okay, this is an accident. Just events occurred. He was drunk. She was drunk. Her blood alcohol level was 0.09. When they finally fished her out of the water and tested her blood, it was 0.09, which was drunk. He was drunk. She was drunk. He did everything he could to cover it up. They knew each other well. This was all just infidelity. He didn't want to be caught in infidelity. Good friends and driving. Okay, so he knew her well. She knew him. This is not a rape. She's not blackmailing him. He's very the very wealthy man, has aspirations to be president. He got very high level people involved. They all got exposed and was discussed worldwide. So she was not blackmailing him. She was not pregnant. There's no pregnancy cards here. So she was not pregnant. She was not blackmailing him. It was just simple infidelity, and he was drunk, and he didn't want to be embarrassed by this and ruin his chances to run for president. I don't believe, I'm not sure, I should have checked, but I don't believe Ted Kennedy ever ran for president. Okay, and it's because of Chappaquiddick. I don't believe he ever became a presidential candidate after this. And as a Kennedy, you know, he was a front runner right before this Chappaquiddick happened. He was a front runner. So he was the guy that the Democrats wanted to use for president, to have run for president. So let's just ask a few more questions just to... I don't believe this was murder. I don't believe this was... it's extremely shameful. It's absolutely incredible how differently some people are treated than other people. I mean, just look at what's happening with Donald Trump right now. With this Stormy Daniels. Okay, now, is it wonderful that, you know, maybe whatever with Stormy Daniels? Okay, but comparatively, anything happening with Stormy Daniels is zero, zippo, nothing compared to what happened here with Ted Kennedy, who then went on to have a 50-year, I think he's still a senator. You know, he went on to have like a 50-year political career, you know, and he's like the far left darling. So, okay. So, did he know, did Ted Kennedy know that she was alive trapped in that car? Okay, did he know? Did he know that she was still alive, trapped in that car? Because there's an air bubble, okay? And that would be, I mean, he's just running the clock so that she'll die, if that's the case. That's very, wow, that's so cold-hearted. Did he know that she was alive, trapped in that car? So... we got the scapegoat, we got crossroad, we got heart, and our shadow card is city. So the crossroads is about decisions. He made decisions from his heart. Not his mind. He made decisions, and she was just... he had to let her go. He made decisions to cast her out, to not associate with her, to scapegoat her, to blame her, she got it, and not him, because of the world, because of the perception of the world. This is 13, 14, 14, so that's 4 diamonds. He made decisions about his cornerstone about he made decisions about his career and how this would affect his career, and he didn't want this exposed. Okay, so I asked, did he know she was alive in that vehicle? The sun would have shown that he knew. Okay, the King of Spades, the murderer card, would have shown that he intentionally murdered her. That's not what I see here. This is manslaughter. Okay, he didn't really know. He didn't realize that she was still alive. He thought probably she was dead already. And so what's the harm in waiting if she's already dead? Let's just ask, was she pregnant? Was she blackmailing him? Okay, was Mary Jo Kopechne, was she pregnant, and was she blackmailing him? Was she pregnant? Was she blackmailing him? Because this is a perfect murder scene. Okay, there's no witnesses. It's just him and her. She left her pocketbook at the cottage where they were partying. Okay, who leaves for the ferry? Who leaves for the ferry without their pocketbook, without their license, without their keys? How's she going to get into her house without her keys? There's probably some money in her pocketbook. There's things she needs in her pocketbook, including the keys to her house, the keys to her car. So, was she pregnant? Was she blackmailing Ted Kennedy? Okay. All right, so here, for that question, we have man, four-leaf clover, cross, and Trinity. Wow. Four-leaf clover this is getting lucky. Okay, this can be getting lucky sexually. Cross is a marriage card, permanent relationship. This is man. Okay, so I asked about her. I said, was she pregnant? Was she blackmailing him? I got the man. I didn't get a female card. Okay, so what's happening here is about him. This is 13 and 7, 24. Oh, that's very interesting. 24 is 6 spades, incubus, succubus. This is about sex. He had a long-term relationship with her for sex. And Trinity, 3 diamonds, this is 3 persons. This is a third wheel. He had a long-term sexual relationship with her in his marriage. Okay, she wasn't blackmailing him. There's nothing here about blackmailing. This is about an affair. Ted Kennedy had a long-term affair with Mary Jo Kopechne in and through his marriage that his wife obviously didn't know about, or she would be upset about that. So, okay. All right. So this is very interesting. All right, so let's summarize it. Chappaquiddick, was it an accident or was it murder? It was not murder. It was manslaughter. Okay, he did leave. He was convicted of leaving the scene of an accident. Okay, but it's manslaughter. It's manslaughter. And Ted Kennedy used his high-level connections to really work the narrative of this very carefully and to put as good a shine on it as possible. He did not intend to murder her. I asked, did he know that she was alive in the car here? Scapegoat, crossroad, heart. He made decisions from his heart to sacrifice her. He made a decision to sacrifice her. He didn't know she was alive in the car because of his reputation, because he wanted to run for president. But he didn't intentionally murder her. He thought she was already dead. Okay, and that is not as bad. But she's dead because of his actions. She's a little bit responsible for that, but she's dead because of his actions. And she could have been rescued, although it was an accident. And in the Celtic cross, we had seven hearts in the middle and Fox. Seven hearts it's an accident. It's just, things just happen. A bunch of events came together and just resulted in tragedy. I asked if she was pregnant, if she was blackmailing him. No, it's about him. This is about sex. He was having a long-term affair with her. So Ted Kennedy did not murder her. And she was not blackmailing him, and she was not pregnant. It was a terrible accident that was manslaughter. But even so, I am mystified how this liberal Democrat was able to have, and still does have, a very successful career in politics after this. And just compare it to anything, compare it to most things that happen in politics. Anyway, that's how I see it. I'm Joseph Magi, author of Playing Card Divination and Fortune Telling, the Magi Method. You can find the book worldwide on Amazon in both Kindle and paperback versions. You can find the full color card deck on Etsy/Magi Method. You can join us on Facebook.